That's a table, Caleb. Oh. There's another one.
Another table?
No, another floor. There's another table. Is that a table?
It's a breakfast table.
It's a breakfast bar.
But is it a table?
It's a bar.
Is a bar a table?
What's the description of a table?
What's the description of a table?
That's true. A table's like a grid with things in it.
You go left, I'll go right.
Get in.
Oh, there's a table.
There's a table.
Yeah, is he playing this one? He's just seen it.
Does it have to have legs to be a table?
Would it not just be a piece of wood just on the floor?
If you do get them circular tables with just the one leg.
But
If
still a
it's-
leg.
If it has to
Is it
have
legs?
legs to be a table, is that marble table a table?
Not, is that marble
Is
table?
that a leg?
Is that or is that not a table?
No, is that a fat leg?
I don't think I'd call that a leg.
It's definitely not a leg.
What's the description of a leg?
What's the description of a leg? Because do those like circular tables with that one leg,
Yeah.
are they not that, but
Thinner.
thinner? Why is that a leg, but that's not a leg?
Yeah.
If that
Is it
was
because-
thinner, would it be a leg?
Is it because them tables are a leg and then it comes out?
With a foot. But
Yeah.
these don't have feet.
Yeah, but these don't have that. But these have 4. So maybe if it has 1.
So those chairs each have a foot.
And therefore they're tables.
And therefore they're tables. That's spiral.
What makes a table a table? You had a good week? Yes. What have you done? Well, we've decided we're trying to work out what makes a table a table. That's what we're discussing in our house at the moment. You what? Well, we discuss the war, we discuss Eurovision, and then we come to the really important stuff. What makes a table a table? Do you know the answer? Oh, God. Yeah, well, tell me the answer then, because we don't.
Then you've got to describe. So is a bar a table?
That's it.
Oh. Well, it doesn't have legs.
And if a bar is a table, is a counter a table?
I think I'd consider a bar a table.
And therefore, it's a counter a table.
Like in the kitchen that we have there.
Hmm.
And then, is a desk a table?
A desk.
Why is-
I'd say desk.
I'd call a
what-
desk a table.
And why is a desk called a desk and not a table? It can't be because it's got a drawer in it, because this is a table and it's got drawers in it. So it's not a desk.
What is the difference between a desk and a table? I nearly wonder if the difference between a desk and a table is where is it?
Or what's on it?
Yeah, or what you
it's used
decide
for,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah. So because it's in the bedroom where you do your studies, it becomes a desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a desk.
But if you put that same desk in the dining room and ate off of it, it would become a table.
Yeah, it becomes the dining room table.
Maybe a desk is a workplace table.
Maybe. I'm trying to think if there are any desks that I'd be like, no, but that's not a workplace table. Although, of course,
And
it
of
does
course,
depend
tables
on...
in the canteen are, like, don't count.
Doesn't have to be a workplace table because, like, you could have a gaming desk which isn't work, even though it could be used for work. I'm sure it's not used for work.
So would that count as a desk? Or is that a table?
Would that count as a desk? I think I'd count that as a table.
I would count that as a
Yeah,
table.
I don't think I'd call it a desk.
So I would count that as a table. I'd count this as a table, and I'd count the marble table as a table.
I don't think I'd call any of these a desk.
What
Is
about
that a
this?
table?
I think
I was looking at that.
now
earlier.
see. I think that behaves as a table.
It does behave as a table.
Whether it's a table or not
Because it's got wheels, though.
is that the only thing about it? It's got
It's
wheels.
got wheels.
I'd call it a table then.
It has got wheels.
I didn't know if it had like a proper job,
It is like a
but we used it as a table.
Well, it's like an old. It's like a TV table, a little TV
I
table.
would almost say that was a table.
I'd call it a table. I think the one in your room would count as a desk.
I'd count
metal
yours as
thing.
a desk.
But I think-
the metal one.
But I think I'd consider every desk a table.
It's like a finger and a thumb.
Yeah. Every desk is a table, but not every table is a desk. For example, a bar is not a desk.
No, bar is definitely not a desk, and a counter is definitely not a desk.
No,
But they could classify it a table.
but they could classify as tables.
Yeah. They could
So
have
what are we
counter.
classifying as a counter?
Somebody that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You go right.
You go
I know.
left.
I'm not sure because Caleb brought counter up, and we don't really use counter.
No, but I know what he means by counter, and
them
like
things.
you could
I
consider
don't know
the
what you would
breakfast
call it.
bar
You could
a
the breakfast bar,
counter.
you could call a counter.
But see, I don't know if I'd call the breakfast bar a table.
No, I mean the things like we chop on as well. The things that has like the.
Oh right, yeah.
That's what I was on about.
So like the side.
Yeah. The thing that has like the
Yeah.
kettle on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Does that count as a table?
No, definitely not a table. Where we've got the kettle is definitely not a table.
What is it then?
A counter.
Well, I don't. Counter?
These are the hard questions.
They are the hard questions. The trouble is, you forget what you call it. I don't know what I call it usually.
It's the side.
Yeah,
I think that's all it ever gets
I
called.
think we say, yeah, put it on the side in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think its proper name probably is a
It
counter.
probably is counter then.
To us, it's a side.
I was about to say, would you class a table as something you could go underneath? But then that's a table.
Yeah.
So what's the
Yeah.
difference between that and a counter?
If that was taller, chest height, would it be a table?
No, it'd probably be a counter.
So height is a factor.
Height,
Hang on.
To some extent, a height is a factor.
The head is wider than the rest of it. Does that make
What
it a
about
table?
your desk?
You're on about the top is wider than the
Yeah.
rest of it.
Yeah, 'cause it
Yeah,
isn't.
because
Is
you
it?
would get tables where the legs are out here, and then you've got a little bit in the middle, and the legs are still here because it just wouldn't work.
But you see what he means? Like you've got this like
Okay.
jutting
Okay.
out part, and you've got that on there, but you don't
So
have
maybe
that
there
on
are two
counter.
factors.
Okay.
Maybe it's either the head is wider than the rest of it, or you can go underneath it. Because my desk you can go underneath still.
But you can go underneath a counter, like a breakfast bar.
Which one be calling the breakfast bar a counter?
I think
Or
I
a
would be
table.
calling the breakfast bar a counter.
I'd call a breakfast bar a table.
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd call a breakfast bar a table.
Again, that might depend on where the breakfast bar is. If it's an independent bar,
If the breakfast bar wasn't attached to the counter,
Would
would
it-
you call it a table?
If it was supported by legs,
Yeah, I guess. Because then it just wouldn't be a table.
because then it just would be a table. If it was floating there, I don't think I'd be having this conversation. I think I'd be trying to work out the physics of how it's floating there. Ringing Acer. Acer. The breakfast bar's floating.
Also, do you know what a table is?
The breakfast bar's floating. Tell me what's gone wrong.
and also,
Also, what's a table?
It's
What?
under a table.
can you tell us whether a counter is a table, if a breakfast bar is a table, and how come a table that doesn't have legs is still a table, and a table that does have legs is still a table?
See, this is one of the
Then what on
times.
earth is a TV sat on?
Yeah, well, yeah. And our TV is on what?
No, that'd be a shelf, I would call it.
Yeah, that's a shelf.
Shelf.
Okay, we've all established that that's definitely a
A
shelf.
shelf is not a table.
The shelf is not a table.
So
So
a
put
shelf-
a breakfast bar count as a shelf.
So the shelf, apart from it is supported by a leg, the shelf would be supported by a
Binder.
Bracket.
Bracket. that's
Our
right.
breakfast bar's supported by a leg. But it wasn't meant to be. That's a new leg, isn't it, that
It's supposed to
Stephen's
be
put
still.
in?
It's only a piece of wood that he's put in because the one that should be there is not there.
Okay. So, is a counter a shelf?
So at church, against all the walls, we have chairs underneath a shelf. which we sit at to drink coffee. So are they coffee shelves or coffee tables? Or are we at
Yeah,
what's
because you get them in like
similar,
McDonald's
breakfast
and
bar?
stuff sometimes, don't you, as well?
Yeah.
The ones next to
So
the
I would call it
windows.
like a breakfast bar where we sit and have coffee and that on the stools. It's a breakfast
Wait.
bar.
If it's a breakfast bar, then it's a bar, and a bar's a table.
Yeah. But it's also, it doesn't have legs and it comes out of the wall, so it's like a shelf. So it's like what the TV's on, supported by brackets.
Maybe a shelf is a table.
Not supported by legs.
Maybe.
Not supported by legs. Or one big lump. And then we need to decide what the difference between a chair and a stool is,
My gut reaction would be a stool doesn't have a back.
doesn't it? So are they not bar stools then that we've got? Because that's how I bought them.
Okay.
They have a stool.
Yeah, they're bar stools. And they've got a back.
Wait,
They do have a back.
wait.
And actually, other
Do
bar
you
stools
remember
have
in
back.
school, in science, them chairs?
Yeah.
Are they tables?
So some stools look a bit like tables.
Right. Right.
They did have a thing in the middle for you to grab it, I guess.
They didn't have a back.
I think if you sit on it, it's a chair. Like if it's made for sitting on, it's a chair.
Stroke stool.
Stroke. Well, I think a stool is a kind of chair.
Okay.
Obviously, the question is when does it become a stool? Like if we break the backs off of these, do they become stools?
So we are establishing that a stool is a backless chair.
No, we're not.
We are establishing that a stool is a backless chair. However, we do
Right.
have some stools that do have a
That
back.
have backs. Yeah.
Okay, so anything without a back is a stool.
A chair without a back is a stool.
Yeah,
But a stool is not a chair without a back.
yeah.
Is a
Yeah.
chair with 4 legs? Would
No,
you
'cause-
describe something as a chair that doesn't have 4 legs?
Yes.
Yeah, because you could easily get chairs like that with just one leg.
Or you could get a chair like
The yellow one
one.
with no
that's-
legs.
The yellow one that's got no legs. It hasn't
Yeah.
stopped being a chair because it's lost its legs.
No.
Yeah.
Also, a beanbag could be a chair potentially. Yeah, it doesn't have any legs and never had any legs.
And you get them in the shape of chairs as
You
well.
don't. Those stools in the science classes had 4 legs as well. So, number of legs doesn't determine a stool.
You would count them as a stool, or I would at least.
Well, because they had no backs.
So having no back is definitely a stool. But having a back doesn't make you a chair.
Yeah, doesn't disqualify you from stool.
Yeah. Well, half an hour.
It's been about 45 minutes. It started off as a decent conversation.
Yeah, about Fabi and Caleb.
Yeah. And there were also some other things, I'm sure, thrown in there.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. I mean, that was at least related to the relationship
Yeah,
discussion.
How we've got onto chairs.
Now we've
stools,
devolved
and
to is it a table, is it a stool?
And when does a counter become a bar stall? I mean, a breakfast bar. And when is a shelf a shelf?
I think a shelf might be a table. It's a hard truth to accept.
After tonight, I'm not sure I can argue with you. The test, the proof will be in the pudding when we discuss it with others. when we're in our own social group, can you put that? Can you just go put that on the shelf over there? Shelf?
Oh, you mean the little
In the little
table?
table. What do you mean the little table? What makes a shelf and what makes a table a table? Well, you eat off a table. Okay, that's good enough. So when I'm eating off the shelves that we've got around the place, are they not tables or are they still shelves? Oh. So you've defined that if we eat off it, it's a table. We eat off the shelves, therefore they must be tables.
Well, you eat off a table. Okay. What are you working at? A desk. What's the difference between a desk and a table? You work at a desk, you don't work at a table. You eat off a table. Would you eat off your coffee table? No. So it's a desk. No. My coffee desk.
That is my plan tomorrow. We're in a B&B tomorrow and Wednesday. Plan is to decide. What? Can you eat off the table? Yeah, I can. If you can explain which one's the table. What do you mean? Well, which one's the table? I don't know what a table is.
What was the discussion I was supposed to have with someone at work? We had a discussion and we said about having the conversation with people we work with. I can't remember the conversation.
It'll come up at some point.
It will do. It will
when it
come
comes up, you'll remember.
Yeah.
You have to have those conversations. Those crazy, mad conversations that shouldn't be had.
It was going on about one of the students who sometimes struggles to get on the bus to go home, and the TA3 in my class goes, oh no, he's had a really good week this week, and I went, well, yeah, of course he has, Joy. He's not been on the bus yet. She was going on about how well he'd done last week, but she said this week.
In a meeting on Friday, they asked one of the bosses, how's it been? Yeah, living the dream. And I put my mic on and went, living the dream? And he goes, yeah. I said, wow. Your dreams must be really boring. My dream's watching the cricket and Antigua. I says, not sitting in the office on a meeting like this.
The same TA3 in my class said, not all TA3s are as nice as me, you know. And I went, no, you're right, Joy. Most of them are a lot nicer. And she goes, oh, no, I used to like you. I like Joy. That was one of the situations where the right thing to do was to not look up what a table is. Yeah, the discussion was better than
looking
it up.
Definitely.
So I have a question as well.
Okay.
Is that a counter or a table?
Is what a
That's a
counter a
sideboard.
table?
That thing with all the drawers?
That's a sideboard.
Because you use it as a table upstairs.
So upstairs, the sideboard in my bedroom I use as a desk. Stroke table.
You do use it as a desk. We've established that a desk is a table.
Yeah, so I use it as a desk.
Every thumb is a finger.
So my sideboard in my bedroom is my desk. Also, my bar, our bar stall, no, not our bar stall, our breakfast bar is also my desk.
So a desk isn't always a table.
No, I think... So, because I think that a counter is a shelf, and that now I think that a shelf is a table, I do now think that a breakfast bar is a table.
Yeah.
Though I am reluctant to admit it, but I'm also still reluctant to admit that a shelf is a table. I'm also dealing
Well, a
with the
breakfast
fact...
bar could also be a
I'm
shelf.
also trying to deal with the fact that I consider the windowsill a shelf.
I was wondering that too.
And now I've got to get in my head around the fact that that's a table.
So it's a window table.
Where have you put it? I've just put it on the window table. The what?
We really got to start using it. Where's the knives and forks? Oh, they're on the window table. I was just putting it on. Oh my God. Window table.
Something like that I'm supposed to do at work.
Just nonchalantly.
Just call something that doesn't make
makes no sense to anybody else.
Where have you put it? I put it on the window table.
And then carry on and say it's just normal. Yeah. No.
The window table.
You're the best. Where do I need to go? Window table.
What do you call the game? Where you run around and touch people with your hand and say a word and then they're it.
Dig.
Tig.
Thank you.
The Americans call it tag.
Not just the Americans. everyone I work with calls it tag.
Oh, okay then. So
Even people my age.
maybe it's a
Birmingham
maybe it's a Brummie thing.
I think
then?
it's probably a Brummie
Black
thing.
country thing.
Because I've called it TIG all my life, and people were calling it tag, and then someone said TIG at work, and other people went, TIG? What's TIG? No, it's tag. And then I've watched this interaction and gone, it was always TIG for me.
It is TIG.
It is TIG.
Yeah, it's definitely TIG.
It's dick.
It is TIG. That's what I might go and look up. Tag. Because
Tig tag.
TIG tag.
Tug.
I don't think anyone plays tug.
What about Hacky 1 2 3? Do you remember playing?
I
Hacky 1, 2,
have only
3?
played that maybe once or twice.
What about hide and seek?
Yeah, I've played hide and seek.
Is it not the same game?
No. Hacky 1 2 3 was like a combination between TIG and hide and seek.
Oh, okay.
At least when I played it, there was a
When we played hide and seek, we would all go and hide, and if we got found, we all had to try and beat the person to the tree and say Hacky 1 2 3 before.
oh,
they
okay,
touched it.
no,
That's how hide and seek was.
hide and seek with me was just if you're found, you've lost, and if you
So
the seeker has to go
Yeah.
and find everyone.
So that's how it
Yeah,
sort
with
of
the
changed
sunglasses.
to as you started playing it in the
Easy.
house. We as kids in the house would still try running to wherever Den was to go Hacky 1 2 3,
Yeah, but
and it was always Hacky 1 2 3, everyone's safe.
Hacky 1 2 3 was you hide and then you have to get back to Den and say Hacky 1 2 3 before whoever's it gets their hand to you and says Hacky 1 2 3.
Oh, okay. No, it was to the.
So as I say, it was like a combination
Yeah, so
between
ours
TIG
was
and
always to the tree.
yeah. Obviously, it didn't have to be a tree with us. It was just
Yeah.
base, whatever
Yeah,
base,
base
was.
was,
Yeah,
yeah,
den
yeah.
or den. Yeah,
Yeah, it was usually a tree because we'd do it in the woods.
yeah.
But
I think I've only ever played it in Aiden's garden.
so we played it. We played it once when the window was the
Well, the flipping big guy.
Hacky 1 2 3. So you
I'm
know.
sure
what
that
happened there.
went well.
Yeah, you know what probably happened there. Well, it did happen. The window didn't exist much longer. Because we're all trying to touch it. Hacky 1 2 3 without slowing down.
Yeah.
So obviously the window goes through.
Glass all over the window table.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't called a window table.
What did you do with that work, Nahum? Oh, just put it on the window table. On the what?
Yeah, definitely. We can't remember that other one as well.
Yeah, it was something. I'm
It's
sure it
something
was.
that
I'm sure it was calling something
yeah,
that
that isn't.
it isn't. It isn't what it's called, but it is accurate.
Yeah.
Like a window table. I do think it was one of these conversations that led up to the
Yeah,
conclusion.
it was one of these conversations that
Yeah.
led up to it. And at some point it will click and we'll remember. I suppose it's bedtime really. Starting to feel it a little bit, and I am working till midnight tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off to my room then. Probably see you tomorrow. I might make myself a coffee.
Yeah, you'll see me in the morning, but that's about it then.
Yeah.